That's the point of difference. Oh my God, they're just saying it out loud. They're dabbing on us. They're dabbing on us. They're dabbing on us. You want to know why? Because we're okay. Wake the up. We are literally, we are a nation of, okay. It's literally like they're writing it in the Financial Times. They're saying it out loud. All right, give me a link for Trump Live. I'll tune into the disgusting file president gleefully talking about destroying an entire country.
We will get a big piece of that, and we'll also make life wonderful for the people of Venezuela who have been very, very badly hit. So that's a lot said in a short period of time, but you can witness it for yourself. And now we'll get on to something that I'm very proud of, because it was sort of my idea, like
very much so.
Build your own power plant. And everybody thought I was kidding. They said, really, you can do that? How would you do that? I said, we'll get you fast permits, and you'll build your own plants, but we're going to discuss it in great detail with the biggest people in the industry and some of our great leaders and senators. And congratulations on the Medal of Honor for your one soldier, 100 years old, 101 to be exact. And Daryl's been fighting that he get the Congressional Medal of Honor for many years, Daryl, right?
Mr. President, I give you all the credit for overcoming
We're ruled by
the
monsters.
lawyers in the Department of the Navy in a way that I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
And nobody could have done it but you.
Maybe it'll be a long, we had to get it to him a little bit quickly, but he looks like he's in good shape. He's got some years left, right?
He's planning to come back here for your next Medal of Honor ceremony. And, he's also going to be the star at Tailhook this summer if you want to come to Reno.
Well, I congratulate you for that success. That was amazing. He didn't stop. I've known him a long time. He never stops. So congratulations. It's very nice. We're here this afternoon for a historic signing that will help keep down utility bills very, very substantially, and electricity prices for millions of Americans, and in many cases for a lot of people that don't really understand why they're going up, but they're not going to be going up. They're going to be actually going down. Today, we followed through on an announcement I made in my State of the Union address last week, as America's largest tech companies officially signed the Ratepayer Protection Pledge. It's a big deal. It's going to have a tremendous impact on electricity costs. We're bringing down all of the costs. We have this little interlude to do what we have to do, because we had it going. But these interludes are very important, especially this one. But the economy has never been like this. We broke 50,000 on the Dow. People thought we wouldn't do that within the first 4 years. We did it in the first year, and we brought 7 on the S&P, 7,000. On the S&P, they said that's even less likely to happen. And we did that too, all within the first year. Under this new agreement, big tech companies are committing to fully cover the costs of increased electricity production required for AI data centers. And that would be prices for American communities will not go up, but in many cases will actually come down, and very substantially. Because, the data centers, and you people are so big, you're the biggest in the world, but they've developed a little bit of a bad public, they need some PR help, because people think that if a data center goes in, their electricity prices are going to go up, and that's not happening.
The data centers, and people don't like them.
For the areas where it did happen, it won't happen anymore, because they never had this alternative. It's actually going to mean the prices come down. You're going to see how badly they want. Some centers were rejected by communities for that, and now I think it's going to be just the opposite. This means that the tech companies and the data centers will be able to get the electricity they need, all without driving up electricity costs for consumers. This is a historic win for countless American families, and will also make our electricity grid stronger and more resilient than ever before. So that's part of it. It's going to be strengthened up. And they're going to be getting a lot of excess electricity from the data centers where they build their own plants. They're going to be creating their own electricity. We're pleased to be joined today by Speaker Mike Johnson, who's got a difficult job, but he does it as easy as anybody I've ever seen do that job. It's never easy when you have a majority of 2, or sometimes less. Yeah, I was going to say sometimes less, but he's amazing. And Energy Secretary Chris Wright, who's worked so hard, and Senators Katie Britt, Bernie Moreno.
Do you think Peter
John
Thiel's behind this to
Huston.
create his
Thank
country
you, everybody.
praxis? Because he's
Really
behind a lot
great.
of terrible
Thanks, Katie.
things. Hella connection to Trump.
Representative
No, this
Darrell
is
Ison,
Israel's design,
Derek
dude. There is
Van
no.
Orden. Thank you both, and Derek, thank you. Nice to see you.
This is what the fuck is this?
OSTP Director Michael Kratzios.
Why are you sending this to me?
AI and crypto czar.
This is what he
David
said in the
Sachs.
beginning. Here, let's see what he said in the beginning. President Trump just now on Iran. If we didn't hit it within 2 weeks, they would have had a nuclear weapon. Oh my God. No one even believes it. Not only does no one believe it, but also their heart's not even in it. Their heart's not even in it. They just don't care. They don't care. What is this? This is a huge story I've barely seen covered. Everyone talking about economic damage via energy is deterrent, but holy shit, tech is expensive. Tens of billions of dollars. They spent $500 billion building a plan to keep chips away from China. Nobody spent $1 on a plan to keep missiles away from the chips. What? I don't know what that is. It's a fun soundboard thing. Come on, man. The world is collapsing right now. Let me lock the in real quick, okay? Let me log in real quick. We got so much shit going on. A federal government contractor for the defense, for the Department of War at Dover Air Force Base, DE, has posted to Indeed.com seeking multiple part-time on-call personnel effects specialists. The position will support, receive, safeguard, inventory, store, process, and make final disposition of personal effects of military and civilian casualties from overseas. This position appeared on site within the last 7 days. What the? They didn't have this already? They needed it. Dude, the number of casualties is far greater. Not for active duty personnel and like reservists. You can't really hide those deaths. But defense contractors. America has changed quite a bit. Even from the global war on terror era. Okay? It's changed quite a bit. Right now, America utilizes defense contractors quite a bit. There's also forces there are in the CIA, you know what I mean? Like they're on the State Department side, and when they die, you won't hear about it. And I think they're probably melting a lot of defense contractors without, and you don't get to hear about it at all. Instead of like active duty reservists, because the active duty reservist protocol for informing like next of kin is intact. I don't think they can, as far as I understand, I don't think they can hide those as well or as easily. I'm sure if there's like a special circumstance, if there's like an entire like naval asset that burned or something, they can try and hide it to the best of their ability in order to withstand the PR shock that will come as a consequence of that. But they can and do with regular frequency hide the total number of casualties and the total number of deaths when it comes down to contractors that they deploy in the region. So if there's like a lot of these at these bases, if you have, I mean, there are chatters in here who might even literally be at the bases right now. There are chatters in here who, well, you probably can't watch right now if you're literally in the Gulf. I suspect that they don't let you watch or use your phone any longer. I think I saw the CENTCOM notification that said don't use your apps at all. But if you've ever been stationed in one of these bases, you can tell me if that's the case or not. But I'm pretty sure. I suspect that like some of the guys that they're, some of the people that may or may not have been killed is they're if they're defense contractors, like we will not hear about it. U.S. contractors in Kuwait decry meager bunkers and pay cuts amid Iran were treated as expendable. Employees say they've heard little from major defense contractor V2X Inc. about safety and evacuation protocols. Yeah, they are expendable. Why doesn't China use this a crackdown on Taiwan out of American influence? I don't want to get into China right now.
All humanity.
The American people deserve to know what's going on, what kind of conduct their government is doing, how their government is abusing their money, their tax money, their image in the Middle East, in the Islamic world, just in furtherance of the whims of Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah. I don't think these guys understand. I can watch it from Saudi Arabia, but I live and work here, not military. Yeah, no, I'm saying if you're a military, if you're in the military right now, if you're active duty and you're in the Gulf, they don't want you to use, I saw the CENTCOM notification. They don't want you to use, a lot of phone applications because they suspect that either China or Iran using that for targeting. And that's the reason why they have these drone strikes that take place on civilian properties, like hotels and apartment complexes. Where like, why the fuck are they hitting these hotels? Why the fuck are they hitting these apartment complexes? It's because there's assets, and CENTCOM thinks that the way that they're finding the strike targets is the phone applications that people are using. Yeah, it's the same as don't smoke at night back in the day. Yeah, pretty much. What is this? Eyes on Azerbaijan and Armenia. Azerbaijan has become an eager proxy to Trump and Netanyahu axis. That's true. The role remind us what the stake of the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran are. Always and already regional with lethal consequences for Armenians too. Oh, yeah. I got a buddy who works as a defense contractor who was offered $170K to go to Cyprus by the end of the month, not including per diem. Anyway, my cousin's boyfriend was stationed in London past 2 years. On the 25th, they deployed him to an unknown location, told him to stop using apps. My cousin talked to him on Friday the 27th, but hasn't since. He's an engineer, and she thinks he's in Israel or somewhere with a desert climate because he sent her a Snapchat, but hasn't been on since. He sent a Snapchat? God, the American military is so stupid. I'm sorry. Same with the Israeli military. We're so comfortable. We, here in the Western world, in the heart of empire, are so used to our retreats. We have no OPSEC. We have no OPSEC whatsoever. That's why all the Israeli occupational forces, the neo-Nazis, were like filming themselves doing war crimes over and over again because they were like, oh, this is great. This will look so good on my social media. Yes, I love Israel. I love doing war crimes against Hamas. No OPSEC whatsoever. Anyway, I'm all over the place right now. I talked about my suspicions of like defense contractors possibly getting smoked with some of these drone strikes. I assume that is like a real point of concern. But yeah, I think the numbers are probably a lot higher when you calculate the total number of casualties. When you look at the actual defense contractors have probably also been killed.
It's not. And here's the other thing. You'll have your approvals within 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, we're still talking about all this other shit like energy deals and whatnot, but we are going to get back to Iran, what the goals are, what the ambition is, who we're doing this for, and what the clandestine operations are on the ground. As I showed you, Israel itself has openly revealed that their goal here is to create as much chaos as possible against the Revolutionary Guards and utilize the ethnic tensions to foment like some kind of to basically create chaos in the country, right? If you get the IRGC's ground units to move around, because on the one hand, you got to squash a rebellion that's taking place over there with like the Balochistan separatist movement. On the other hand, you got to go to like the Kurdish ethnic enclaves and stamp out protests and discontent and like actual fucking, it's not even like a protest at that point. It's just like straight up warfare. Especially when these guys are gearing up, tuning up the IRGC to react to react against what these guys are doing is objectively terrorism at that point, right? In that predicament, you have the military's existing units spread out to the best of your ability, and it makes it, I guess, easier for American troops to eventually come in if they were to do like a landing operation, which again, very limited options as far as where they could invade Iran from, with where they can create like a supply line, because Iran, as I've shown you before, if you look at a fucking topographical map, is surrounded basically 3 parts by mountains. Okay. So they're going to try to divide the IRGC. They're going to try to divide the forces if there is actually additional boots on the ground participation from American units. Let me tell you who's not going to be on there. Let me tell you what boots are not going to touch Iranian soil. Israeli boots. Just so we're clear. It will be American boots. It'll be your neighbors that go and fight and die in the Iranian mountainside for Israel. It will not be Israeli boots that touch the soil. Make no fucking mistake. Okay, Israel, small country. Israel, too small. Israel, tiny nation, size of New Jersey. No politic here. No politic, I say. You know, a coalition of the willing. But that's what this is. That's what's going on. That's what they're gearing up for. But, you know, it's pretty crazy how open the American media is in their coverage so far as well. Like, hey, Kurds, sorry we just handed you over to the Syrian government after years of successful cooperation. Would you like to repeat the same thing in Iran, but faster? One person familiar with the discussion, this is on CNN. One person familiar with the discussion said that the idea would be for Kurdish armed forces to take on Iranian security forces and pin them down to make it easier for unarmed Iranians in major cities to turn out without getting massacred again as they were during the unrest in January. Another U.S. official said the Kurds could help sow chaos in the region and stretch the Iranian regime's military resources thin. When I say it, people go, Hasan, you're an ethnic supremacist. You're a Turk. Of course you hate the Kurds. But CNN is literally writing verbatim what the design is here. Okay? It's very clear. And to the Iranians that are, you know, to the Iranians in the diaspora who want to make sense of this, or maybe they want to hear from an opposing perspective, and they're getting really mad at me, and they think, Hasan, you don't understand. Like, we love Israeli bombs or whatever. I want my grandparents to die because as long as, like, we can have a free and liberal Iran, I need you to understand, you are not going to have a free and liberal Iran. You are just not going to have an Iran at all, okay? You are not different, okay? You are not different than the Iraqis. You are not different than the Libyans. You are not different than the Afghan population. I know you think you are. It's a very well-educated populace, okay? I know you think that you can overcome this. You can't, because at the end of the day, when a fucking American bomb is flying overhead, it's going to destroy your home. It's going to kill you. It's going to kill your children. It's going to kill your neighbors. Okay? It doesn't matter how big-brained you are. It doesn't matter how invested in liberalism you are. America and Israel's designs for your country is not that. Okay? So if you have any suspicion in your heart that America and Israel actually want to liberalize Iran and create a liberal secular democracy in Iran, drop it now, okay? They are not invested in this at all. And I know it feels crazy for a guy living in the imperial core, living in the United States of America. Oh, classic commie. He just loves the IRGC. I don't give a fuck about the IRGC, okay? I don't give a fuck about the Ayatollah. I don't give a fuck about the IRGC. I mean, I think that they have put on a strong opposition against Israel in the region, and that's great, but that's totally separate from their domestic repression, okay? But I need you to understand, this is not about that. Your last opportunity to maintain a sovereign Iranian state is now in the hands of people that you have opposed, people that have jailed your family members, people that have tortured your family members. Your last shot at maintaining a sovereign state is now in the hands of the very same people that you fucking despise. Okay? That's it. I know it sounds insane. I know it sounds crazy. And you might think, oh, you're saying all of this because like you're fucking, pro Ayatollah or whatever. This is your best worst case scenario. Okay? There are only bad options here, bad ranging from catastrophic, like thermonuclear warfare options, which would be the maximum worst option. Okay, we go up the escalation ladder to the nuclear, like a tactical nuke being deployed. You know, that's obviously the worst option because it will destroy the entire planet. But the least bad out of all the catastrophic options you have, out of all the realistic ones at least, is that the Iranian government maintains its integrity, stays intact for a long enough time that the attrition kicks in, it becomes too costly for America, and Donald Trump cuts out the Israelis from the negotiation, and he tries to do like a Maduro thing with whoever the fuck is in charge still, okay? He tries to do a Delcy Rodriguez with like Ali Larjani or someone like that, and they're like, okay, we're pulling out. The energy markets have imploded, And all of my fucking capitalist friends are giving me phone calls every single day telling me to cut the shit out. And obviously the opposition internally is going to come from the ultra-Zionists, the Lindsey Grahams of the world, the pro-Israel dick riders of the world. But the competing forces there are, how much can Donald Trump molest the money? How much can American empire's integrity take a hit, take a massive fucking blow? And eventually, which side caves to the pressure? If it's the Iranian side that fucking falls apart, if it's the IRGC that falls apart, you are not going to get a secular liberal democracy out of that equation. You are not even going to have a fucking country to return to. Okay? You're going to have a country that you desperately try to escape, and you are going to have, given the 90 million Iranians that live there of all different ethnic backgrounds, you are never going to be able to see your home again. You're never going to be able to cherish your culture again. You are going to have nothing. All of it will be reduced to rubble. You will have a balkanized state that is constantly waging war with one another, and it will turn into Libya. Okay? It's so crazy because we have seen it happen over and over again. And yet people still think this time it'll be fucking different. Technically not true of Massad's boots. No, Mossad is not going to have boots on the ground. They'll have people that are Iranian that they work with. They'll have their assets, but they're not going to fucking send. They're not going to send Israeli sons and daughters into Iran, okay? Get the fuck out of here. They never have. Why the fuck would they do it this time? It'll be different because Iranians actually USA to help. Not same for Libya and Iraq, so that's the big difference now. No, you don't know anything. Kurds W, USA W, Turks crying in the corner. Oh my God, you don't know anything. No, of course there were coalitions in Iraq that were also asking and demanding for intervention. What the fuck are you talking about? You're wrong. You just don't know anything about the history. You can only arrive at this position if you are utterly oblivious to the history of American empire in this fucking region. Jesus Christ. In the eyes of Israel, you are no different than a Palestinian, okay? They do not give a fuck about you. You are literally the same as Palestinians. The same as the Lebanese population living in southern Lebanon that has to fucking now move again because, Israel has decided we're going to go in and we're going to take more Lebanese territory. I don't know why you can't understand this. America doesn't even give a fuck about its own service members. America doesn't even give a fuck about its own citizens living in the United States of America, its own taxpayers. And you're over here thinking, oh, but they give a fuck about me. You're stupid. Anyway, this plan includes no political guarantees for Kurds in Iran and no plan to keep Iran and Turkey from at least economically suffocating, at most militarily carving up Iraqi Kurdistan in response. Doesn't make sense for them to go along with it, but seemingly there's enough movement that they can claim that the Kurds are totally on board with this to once again make it seem like there is enough movement here. There's also this other side, Israel Hayom, another ethnic group waging sustained insurgencies, the Baluchis, a Sunni minority straddling the territories of Iran, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, who seek self-determination and autonomy. The IRGC has in recent years conducted an unprecedented crackdown on the Baluchi minority. The central active organization on the Iranian side is Jaish al-Adl, which in December 2025 merged with the additional groups into the Popular Fighters Front and declared a broad struggle against the regime. The third ethnic minority in Iran with a history of armed resistance to the government is Arabs of the southern Khuzestan province, predominantly Shia Arabs whose population numbers more than 1.5 million. In 2022, large protests against Tehran's rule took place in the province, and clashes between Arab separatists and regime forces resulted in several deaths. Dilawar Karwan says U.S. ground strategy is to foment Kurdish rebellion fielded by SDF veterans displaced from Syria and likely led by American commandos, all covered by U.S.-Israeli air power. Very worrying. IRGC would have to respond very hard to totally crush the rebellion. Straight out of the Iraq playbook, the formation of a no-fly zone over Kurdistan in Iraq was a key piece in the overthrow of the Ba'athist government. The Iranian Kurdish coalition, this is Ambed Zaman, who writes for Al Monitor and The Economist. The Iranian Kurdish coalition is asking the United States to establish a no-fly zone over the Kurdish areas to provide air cover for potential future operations and, above all, to prove its commitment. And America will gladly offer that, by the way. Okay, Hasan, you absolutely have to stop ignoring the populations that speak from their perspectives. You have to listen. Yeah, you have to listen to idiot voices in idiot spaces. We have to give them space to spew bullshit. That's what equality is all about. Yeah. Yeah, you have to listen to MAGA voices. Excuse me, why are you not centering MAGA voices in this conversation? Excuse me, why are you not centering Israeli voices in this conversation? I don't know, because I don't give a shit. Because I'm looking at action and reaction. I'm looking at the results. I'm looking at what the intention is. And I know what the intention is. It's complete death and destruction for possibly hundreds of thousands of Iranians and tens of millions of Iranians displaced, never to be able to return to a place that they call home. That's what has happened over and over again, and that's what will inevitably happen here. How the fuck do we not see the same exact story, the same exact song and dance, sometimes the same exact fucking actors, and there are still people going, I don't know, maybe this time it's different. No, the fuck it's not. The biggest problem from the American side here, is straight up the fact that they just don't have an ISIS equivalent inside of Iran, because Iran has been very successful in eviscerating. If they had an ISIS equivalent inside of Iran, oh, it would be over. It'd be over in a fucking heartbeat. But they will. There will be an ISIS equivalent inside of Iran eventually. Sometime, maybe literally ISIS. You never know. ISIS-I, they might call it. Hasan, is it true that the Islamic Republic has completely cut off the internet communication path so people don't get pre-attack warnings? So many people I follow are posting this on their Insta story. It's saying that the Islamic Republic is trying to kill and harm Iran. Sounds like propaganda to me. I don't know. I mean, I don't think the internet is actually fully cut out in Iran at all, but maybe. Yeah, the I in ISIS actually doesn't stand for Islamic State, Israeli State.
We'll be able to.
Yeah, this is the guy, like, this is the guy commanding the fucking forces, by the way. This is the attitude that he has. And a lot of dumb fucks still think that this is not, a lot of dumb fucks still think this is going to be positive for the Iranians, dude. Holy shit.
To do nothing about it. B-2s, B-52s, B-1s, Predator drones, fighters, controlling the skies, picking targets. Death and destruction from the sky all day long. We're playing for keeps. Our warfighters.
It's like epic Fortnite Chungus is what they're doing, while simultaneously they're like, it's anti-woke. We're actually invading Iran anti-woke style. It turns out the Ayatollah was woke, and we're destroying it. We're doing war, but this time we're war fighting in an anti-woke manner. All the previous reasons why we failed, quote unquote failed, obviously it was for, our capitalists didn't fail. It was fantastic for them, but we technically failed our objectives of like regime change or creating a stable, liberalized region, a secular republic or whatever the fuck. They've always failed over and over again because that wasn't the real ambition at all. But this time it's different. This time we're casting aside all of the woke neocon liberalization attitudes. We're playing for keeps. We're going to fucking destroy the country. Heck yeah.
Have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours.
I'm going to give you.
The fuck is this? Hegz's presser makes clear he thinks Trump will win this simply by being anti-woke and prosecuting the war. They really believe in the magical power of anti-woke. Yeah, our real war fighters, their dicks are hard. Our war fighters with their hard dicks are going to come in with their cocks locked and loaded, and they're going to fuck the ground. They're going to do it. Hell yeah. We're going to rape and pillage. Hoorah. Real war fighters are in charge, everybody. Let's fucking go. Anti-woke style. Anyway, as far as the talks or what's going on, there's also some suspicion that Trump might not be listening to Daddy all too much because he's obviously looking for a fucking exit ramp. CNN openly abides by Israeli military censorship. Oh my God, CNN accidentally confessed live on TV that a massive censorship Israel's doing damage in optics control. We're not showing you that because the Israeli government doesn't allow us to show where that may have come from.
We're not showing you that because we're not going to show, the Israeli government does not allow us or want us to show where that may have come up, that interceptor. But I'm not one.
It's because their interceptors are fucking in civilian areas, obviously. That's the reason. But yeah, of course CNN abides by Israeli censors. What are you talking about? Anyone that covers news inside of Israel literally is telling you what the Israeli government is allowing you to see. I hope you understand that. These countries have complete these countries try to have complete narrative control in a heavily populated and densely populated area to the best of their fucking ability. And they do this all the time. In the first couple of days, if you recall, I showed you some of the impact sites. They had Israeli reporters on the ground doing English coverage because in the first couple of days, they wanted to garner sympathy. When they realized that they couldn't garner any sympathy whatsoever because everyone was like, we know you're a genocidal nation that's bloodthirsty and is trying to do the same thing you did to Gaza to Iran this time, says you. They went, okay, we shouldn't be showing the impact sites at all. We should actually hide it because it only makes it seem like Iran is actually reaching its targets. And it only shows the Iranian side that they're actually successfully striking the heart of fucking Tel Aviv or the heart of Jerusalem. Saudi former intel chief is saying Israel is why the U.S. is doing this. Yeah, everyone is saying Israel's doing this because, of course, that's it. That's the truth. It's hard to fucking look at this as anything but the truth. As you guys know, I have said over and over again that I am the number one guy for the American asset in the region, the aircraft theory. Okay, but this is an instance where it 100% is Israel's ambitions. That's it. We are following along Israel's ambitions, and we're expending billions of fucking dollars worth of assets in an effort to go along with what fucking Israel wants here.
Well, I am surprised at the president's surprise. Respectfully, I would recall that the Crown Prince and other Gulf leaders have been urging America not to undertake military action against Iran because all of us believe that that action will not remain confined to Iran, that Iran will retaliate against American presence in the area, which is present in all of the Gulf states, and as far away as Turkey, apparently. So if he was surprised, I don't think Saudi or other Gulf leaders were surprised. They've been warning.
I'm going to come.
Oh, what the fuck? I accidentally hit that button. That's crazy. I can't believe it. Sorry. My keyboard actually clicked on the soundboard for a second. I was like, where the fuck did that come from? It shocked me. Yeah, here's the Financial Times. Israel expects weeks-long war against Iran. Summarizing the Israeli government's position, Sitrinovich said, if we can have a coup, great. If we can have people on the streets, great. If we can have a civil war, great. Israel couldn't care less about the future or the stability of Iran. That is a point of difference between the U.S. That's the point of difference. Oh my God, they're just saying it out loud. They're dabbing on us. They're fucking dabbing on us. They're dabbing on us. You want to know why? Because we're fucking cattle, okay? Wake the fuck up. We are literally cattle. We are cattle. We are a nation of cattle, okay? It's literally like they're writing it in the Financial Times. They're saying it out loud. They're openly saying over and over again, what are you going to fucking do about it? It doesn't matter. Because guess what? A big chunk of people are going to hear Donald Trump go, this is a good thing. And they're going to say, this is a good thing. A big chunk of liberals are too predisposed with like how much they fucking hate Donald Trump, but they haven't figured out what's going on in front of their eyes. And 90% of Americans don't give a fuck about what happens to the Iranians. Okay? That's it. Because they think, oh, it's happening over there. We've done it so many times over, and we've been over and over again. So it doesn't fucking matter. We're a nation of fat treatlerites who don't give a fuck about anything, and America and Israel takes advantage of that over and over again. Holy fuck. That's a point of difference between us and the U.S., I think. Washington is more concerned about nation building and threats to their regional partners, he added. On Tuesday, an Israeli airstrike tore through a building in the Iranian holy city of Qom. The target was the gathering place for the Assembly of Experts. The 88-person clerical body meant to choose Iran's next supreme leader after Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed at the weekend. It remains unclear whether Israel believed the body was meeting at the time, but an Israeli military official said afterwards that the goal was to stop Iran from choosing a new supreme leader. We want to ensure Iran stays in disarray, they said. It's mind-melting how clear the divergence of Israeli interests and everyone else's interests are here, and they have no reason to hide. I watched Lavrov today after I saw snippets of Hegseth's speech, and I must say, regarding Iran, Lavrov sounded fairly reasonable to me. Of course, it's in his interest if U.S. was restrained by international law, but nevertheless, Russia right now sounds more reasonable than the U.S. and Israel, saying this as a Euroid. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything because, again, we're cattle, and you're also cucked cattle because your leadership, just like our leadership, do not give a fuck. They will allow Israel to do whatever the fuck they want, and they'll sit there, and they'll try to sell it to you. And maybe some will believe it. Okay, maybe some will believe it. Some will go, you know, it sounds good to me. It sounds reasonable to me. You know, Kurdish autonomy. I care about that. They're woke, I think. Right? Here's Donald Trump, by the way. Remember when I told you yesterday that Donald Trump was going to fuck up Marco Rubio's response because he's like the worst guy to have on board?
Years they've been killing our people and killing people from all over the world. And I think we have great support. And I think if we didn't do it first, they would have done it to Israel and give us a shot if that was possible. Years they've been killing our people and killing.
Ruined it. Marco Rubio comes out yesterday and he's like, no. I was wrong when I said it was Israel's war that we're fighting for Israel. I was just like, oh, that's not correct. Looks like the Kurds are in. Yes, I already mentioned this. Yes, Kurdish forces in Iraq have launched a ground military offensive against Iran. Last month, Israel Hayom reported that the IDF is too scared and morale too low to fight Iran. U.S. casualties is obviously preferred. Israel Hayom, the existential threat beyond Iran, the IDF's growing career officer crisis, severe burnout prompting waves of resignations among majors and lieutenant colonels, a dramatic drop in the number of candidates competing for each senior command position. It has become a direct and acute threat to the national security of the state of Israel. The shortage stems from a mass departure trend that began even before the war and has since intensified. We need anyone, dude. Like, please, someone needs to fucking put a stop to this. It's insane. It's insane. Like, these guys are killing and slaughtering babies at such an alarming rate that they are experiencing fatigue from the baby slaughter, so much so that they're like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. But there's always more room in the region for a new group of individuals to take up arms at the behest of Israel and at the behest of American empire. It blows my fucking mind. How can no one just like turn around and try to stop this? It's fucking insane. Well, I guess there's one group that was actually trying to stop it. And for the last 2.5 years, America and Israel have melted every single person involved in said group and is now going to cut the head of the fucking snake. It's crazy. They're just fucking Nazis, man. They're Nazis. I don't know what else to say. They're just Nazis. And America is Nazis too. Oh. There has been a disproportionate number of casualties among commanders who led from the front shouting, "Follow me," as they charged at the head of their troops, many of them no longer fit for duty, further deepening the manpower gap. Well, it's great. There's already a fucking, a million strong, ready to fucking mobilize units from Iowa, from Ohio, from Wisconsin. You know, they'll go out and fight Israel's battles for them when their military experience is fucking fatigue, genocide fatigue from all the baby murder that they've contributed to. Great. Yeah. It's great that we launched a regional war based on a feeling, which is also bullshit. It's not even real. This is just like they're not even doing a good enough job of selling this shit. That's what's so fucking frustrating too. They're not doing a good enough job selling this shit. Their messaging is so inconsistent. And it is becoming increasingly clear to me that it doesn't even matter. They don't even need messaging discipline here. And the American Cattle Brigade will come into my fucking chat and justify it regardless because a bad guy died.
The United States was going to strike our assets in the region, and he made a determination to launch Operation Epic Fury based on all of those reasons. And the president had a...
Keg's Breath also called it Israel's war. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
To our steadfast partner, Israel, your mission is being executed with unmatched skill and iron determination. Fighting shoulder to shoulder with such a capable ally is a true force multiplier and a breath of fresh air. We salute your courage and your contribution.
Also, I don't love this new way of posting, like coming from CENTCOM. More fake news from the Iranian regime. Like they have a soy faillennial handling the fucking comms for the U.S. Central Command. Actually, the regime claims U.S. forces are withdrawing. They sank a U.S. destroyer. IRGC claims to have taken down a U.S. fighter aircraft. The regime says they killed 100 U.S. Marines. All lies. Reality check. U.S. forces are expanding strikes deeper into Iranian airspace by the hour. U.S. forces sank 20-plus Iranian regime vessels while overwhelming firepower from air, land, and sea. Over a 4-day period, U.S. forces have reduced Iranian regime drone launches by 73% and ballistic missile launches by 86%. U.S. military power projection capability is unmatched. All facts. Now that the U.S. CENTCOM has come out with this statement, let me explain what is actually going on. America and Israel have basically unlimited power when it comes to their offensive capability and certainly a finite amount of resources when it comes to their defensive capability. Okay? So their goal here has been trying to eradicate the silos to the best of their ability or just close off the openings that they can find in these fucking caves on the mountainous region of Iran, okay, where the missile silos come out. They have single-use TELs that they deploy these missiles from, and America's job is to try to blow them up to the best of their ability. Problem is, even if you have air superiority, it doesn't matter. They're very clearly not capable of Iran's missile launching capabilities. Okay? It's objectively untrue to say that they have been able to successfully destroy Iran's or completely diminish Iran's drone striking and drone targeting capabilities or their missile launching capabilities. This is before we even talk about people being able to dig out of these openings and then bring out their fucking missiles once more and use more single-use launchers. Okay? And if they were capable of doing this, one, we would see less strikes in general. Okay? You would see like a total a diminishing number of strikes successfully targeting the Gulf region. They have actually reduced the number of strikes. This is true. But they would not be talking about how they're sinking Iranian vessels off the coast of fucking Sri Lanka as a major W. Okay? Iranian assets parked off the coastline of Sri Lanka are not presenting an immediate threat to American naval assets at all. If you're sending submarines to the coastline of Sri Lanka to go and blow up Iranian boats over there or blow up boats that are parked on the fucking coastline that we're not going to be... Hasan is, I just mad. The left is losing everywhere in the world and showing how stupid they are. Lamau? What? Okay, confusing. I just mad. Okay, chatter, don't be mad. Anyway, let's continue. Like, spectacular victory for the Amerifat Empire that doesn't even benefit the Amerifats over here in, the Amerifat continent, for the record. But that's besides the point. You're cattle. Okay? You're cattle. So it doesn't matter. You will never understand how these designs in the region are not beneficial for you at all. Okay? But that's a totally separate point that I'm not even going to get into. But as far as like American power projection here, this last week has diminished American force projection capabilities in ways that I never would have foreseen. America had to withdraw from all of its Gulf assets. They took a fucking beating from Shahed drones and ballistic missiles in every single Gulf country where there are U.S. military bases. Okay? That's a spectacular failure. America is the mightiest empire that has ever existed. And this is the clearest indication we have ever gotten that we, Americans, the American empire, is spread far too thin. Okay? It's too vast, and we do not have the procurement strategies and the missile creation strategies. We don't have the industrial output to be able to keep up with even a fucking country like Iran. There's too much contractor bloat in the defense side. We are very clearly on the back foot. Okay? It's very clear to anyone who can just like pull themselves out of the immediate, like, oh, we're fucking destroying Iran, dude. Shut the fuck up. We're deploying Moabs on Tehran. We're carpet bombing Tehran. Okay, yes, of course America has the capability of carpet bombing Tehran. They could also literally fucking nuke Tehran as well. That doesn't mean that there is a victory there, okay? Even from a force projection perspective. What this has shown every other great power in the world, every other regional power in the world, is that America doesn't actually have the capabilities of defending its assets. American security cooperation just basically turns you into a fucking missile sponge. And on top of that, America can't even protect its own fucking troops. If Russia showed that it was a fucking paper tiger in Ukraine, America has shown that it's a paper tiger against a nation as ascetic and as poor as fucking Iran. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, if we're having this hard of a time defending Gulf security partners while simultaneously defending Israel, the most important country on the planet in the eyes of the American state, okay? What makes you think America is capable of defending South Korea or the Philippines if China was like, yeah, I'm taking this shit, fuck it? If China engaged, if China had the smoke in the same way that Russia did as far as like waging proxy wars with the American state over irredentist actions in its region, how the fuck do we fight back against China? China has a massive technological gap between Iran and China. China has a manufacturing gap between Iran and China. And American manufacturing versus Iranian manufacturing, the low cost Iranian manufacturing in terms of missile defense is clearly enough to strike a devastating blow to American capabilities in defense. It blows my fucking mind. Anyone that looks at this and goes, oh, dude, China is so scared right now, does not understand. They're deluding themselves into thinking that America is still this like mighty fucking country. It's mind-boggling. This is fantastic for Russia. It's fantastic for China. If you have any interest in national security, and if you genuinely think that these countries would like destroy us and destroy the United States of America, and don't want to just simply be regional powers, okay, that can have a better cooperative future with the United States of America. But if they like truly had the ambition to destroy America, why is China could just fucking take the Philippines right now? They could just be like, we're arming the Philippine Maoists, and the Philippine government is actually killing the Maoists. We have to protect the beautiful Filipino population, and we're gonna do that by fucking taking over the Philippines. You know, American style. What's America going to do? What's America going to do? Taiwan is 2 weeks away from having nukes. We have to go into Taiwan. What's America going to do? Are we going to tell China this is why we don't have healthcare? Is that what we're going to do? Is that what we're going to do? We're going to show them how epic we are. We're going to do epic Fortnite Chungus, Israel style defense. We're fucking panic shipping THAADs away from South Korea right now into the fucking region so we can defend Israel. Because a country that has the economy the size of not even the state of Texas is capable of still pummeling fucking Tel Aviv in spite of 60% of our naval assets directly parked in the region to defend Israel. What the fuck are you talking about? China has no combat experience. China has no combat experience. This is embarrassing how much you're coping. Honestly, I'm a fan, but just stop, gang. You make no sense. Yes, I'm the one who's coping. China has no combat experience. So what's going to happen to their fucking missile systems then? Are they just going to implode? Is that what that means? Is that where the combat experience comes in? There's a technological gap here. What the fuck are you talking about? There's a manufacturing gap. There's a technological gap. This is before we talk about export controls. Okay, let's say China's like, we're liberating the Philippines. We're liberating the island of Philippines. It's the only country in the Asian region that does not cooperate with China and does not want to create a security cooperative agreement with China. They go in and they say there's already a base of support amongst the Philippine Maoists that have been violently suppressed by the Filipino government. We have to protect these we have to protect the Filipino population. We have to go and we have to go into the island. Okay? We're going into the island. We're encircling the island. We're taking over the Philippines. What the fuck is America going to do? What is America going to do? America can't defend Ukraine. America can't defend Israel. America can't defend any of the fucking Gulf countries. How is America going to defend the Philippines? China knows it can't face the U.S. on the battlefield because the second Taiwan Strait crisis. Do your research, Hasan. I'm not even talking about Taiwan. I'm talking about fucking the Philippines, okay? China is liberating the Philippines in this hypothetical scenario. What does America do? I'm not even talking about Taiwan. Okay, how about Taiwan? It's pure imperial hubris. Wake the fuck up. They got their asses handed to them straight, with straight American support, which was happening in the Philippines too. Okay. All right, chatter. America's munitions stockpile has diminished. Okay? It still has offensive capabilities that are virtually unlimited, but their defensive capabilities have diminished spectacularly. Now, let me ask you this question. What happens when China says, oh, well, sorry, we are running out of supplies because we have our own ambitions here, and we have to do tight export controls on magnets and rare earth minerals that are necessary for American national security defense? Where do you go? How do you build the missiles? Are you going to make it in your fucking backyard? How are you going to build the missiles then? Now that the stockpile is diminished, how are you going to build the missiles? Where do you go? Do you go to Australia? Shut the fuck up. Are you going to just build them in your backyard? Are you going to utilize a refinement strategy overnight? It took 30 years with central planning for China to get to this level of monopoly control over every single key item necessary for American national security and American defense. And you're over here talking about a country that can barely build 12 fucking THAAD launchers a year. And you're like, or 12 missiles a year, talking about how they're going to be able to do this while China does tight export controls. Yeah, I'm the one who's coping. We have contingency plans. Are you serious, gang? What are the contingency plans? What are the contingency plans? Explain to me what the contingency plans are. What are the contingency plans? Nuclear holocaust? Mutually assured destruction? Is that the contingency plans? Thousands of Iraqi Kurds have launched a ground offensive in Iran. U.S. official tells Fox. Yeah, they're going to launch Godzilla. We have a fucking unlimited budget in the military, and we're having a hard time dealing with Iran. We can't even stop Iran from blowing up the fucking Gulf countries' American bases. They've taken out billions of dollars worth of fucking radar systems in the goddamn region. And you're over here going, oh, dude, there's a will, there's a way, brother. What are you relying on? I'm showing you what's happening right now. You said we have contingency plans. Are you serious, gang? You think America, which has been preparing for a war with China, doesn't have backup plans? That doesn't make sense, gang. What are the plans? I already know what the actual limited options are. That's why I already referenced them. You don't even know which country America could go to. That's why I said, are they going to make Australia refine all the fucking rare earth minerals necessary to make up for literally our over-reliance on China in the event of a tight export controls? You think I'm in the war rooms? No, dumbass. You haven't even done the readily available reading. That's the problem, because you're coping. Like, you literally said, oh, bro, America is America. That's your argument. Your counter argument is America's America. You think they don't have a plan? I don't know, man. Does it seem like we have a really good plan here? Sometimes Benjamin Netanyahu and a legion of fucking pedophiles can just come in and be like, hey, we're going to do this thing and you're coming along for the journey. And our dumbass president goes, oh, that seems great. I would love to be glorious. Accuses you of coping and starts coping. Yeah, I'm not the one who's coping. Is low-key fucking you up inside with Iran that the U.S. is accomplishing what I want? I can tell. Oh my God. Oh my God. I will never be able to get this across. You're, again, cattle. It's fucking you up, dude. Yeah, it's fucking me up. It's fucking me up so hard. You're right. You're coping. You don't even have a single fucking contingency plan in mind. You're just assuming that it's going to be good. It's going to be good somehow, when things are actually not as good as American media is trying to present it. As a matter of fact, even the American media is not even trying to present it as like as a overall positive. Both sides are coping right now, to be fair. I'm not fucking coping at all. I don't think there's anything positive coming out of this for the Iranian population. I'm already talking about like the escalation ladder that we are going to go up. Okay? The only positive like positive solution here, or the least bad option here, is if America receives enough pressure that they back away and try to lean into Trump's interests of like building Trump Tower in Tehran or something, and then they're like, okay, we'll just keep the Iranian out. If you don't cut Israel out, it's over, okay? As long as Israel runs the American government like a fucking flesh puppet and runs our foreign policy in whichever way they see fit, it's just death and destruction. It's mass instability. It's mass chaos. Hello. No. Watch out. Kaya. Get out of there. Kaya. Get out of there. No end game. Chaos of war, profiteering, oil and gas. Yeah. Pentagon prelim assessment says $1 billion a day already. Nice. That's why I told you the notion that it was only $2 billion in cost is ridiculous. That's $2 billion worth of assets that have been destroyed. But the daily cost for waging Israel's war right now is $1 billion a day. It's probably more than that, actually. That's probably a conservative estimate. They're already blaming Ukraine for the stockpile issues. Oh, nice. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Hey, is it good that the White House is already trying to pre-blame Ukraine for the outcome of a 5-day-old war? That's probably good, right? This isn't cope. This is just reading the fucking tea leaves.
However, the president...
It's not even reading the tea leaves. It's just listening to what they're saying. They're pretty fucking transparent about it. Does it seem like it's going really well?
That post was pointing out that, unfortunately, we had a very stupid and incompetent leader in this White House for 4 years who gave away many of our best weapons for nothing, for free, to another...
That's not even true, by the way. We did not give our best weapons to Ukraine. It's fucking ridiculous.
...country very far away by the name of Ukraine. So the president was pointing...
Here's the contingency plan for that chatter. It's called blaming Ukraine. Blaming Ukraine for being invaded. What an incredible contingency plan.
Pointing out how that was an unwise decision, but nevertheless, don't doubt the strength and the might of the American military. However, the president in that post was pointing out that, unfortunately, we had a very stupid and incompetent leader in this White House for giving away many of our best weapons for nothing, for free, to another country very far away by the name of Ukraine. So the president was...
Unlimited support for Israel and... Any support that we've given to Ukraine, which, by the way, again, was a proxy anyway for our ambitions to push back against Russia. And we bit off more than we could chew because they're fucking insane enough. Because they're fucking insane enough to throw bodies into the goddamn meat grinder to take up like 8 inches of fucking Ukrainian territory every goddamn week. And even then, it's like, yeah, fuck the Ukrainians. How desperate they are, how hungry they are for our best weapons. Fucking bullshit. We didn't give them our best weapons. Get the fuck out of here. And now the EU, out of the gas crisis pressure that's taking place, that's taking place in the fucking Strait of Hormuz because of Iran, is urging Ukraine to allow access to pipeline carrying Russian oil. Fantastic. Meanwhile, the EU is turning to Russia for gas now with Nord Stream gone by the CIA. Also, Putin said maybe he doesn't give them gas. There's no shot Putin doesn't give them gas. Russian President Putin says it may be time to stop supplying gas to European markets. No shot.
Just sad, no? Starting the 25th, they want to restrict Russian gas purchases, and then in 2027 they want to further restrict gas supplies from Russia. Now there are new markets that are opening up. Maybe it would make sense for us to stop our supply to the European markets right.
Dude, is there a continent more cucked? Like, I yell about the Gulf nations all the time, but is there really a group more cucked than Europeans, than the Euroid nations? He'll have buyers in India and China and South Korea and Japan since the supply to Asia is blocked. Oh, yeah, no, I know. He doesn't need to fucking sell to Europe. I think he could use this as an opportunity to restart relationships with Europe after fucking pummeling Ukraine. But Europe, every decision America makes, Europe gets fucking destroyed in the process. Every single decision that America makes, Europe is fucked. And they still haven't figured it out. Or at least if they have, they're like, well, we gotta abide by our masters. Spiegel, Mr. Lux, are the Israeli and U.S. airstrikes against the Iranian regime a cause of joy or concern for you? An armed conflict is always a cause of concern. What bothers me about the debate we're having in Germany is that we're only discussing principles. International law is undoubtedly important, but we should adopt the perspective of the people who are so oppressed by the regime that they welcome bombs falling on their own country.
Now, to turn to the markets that are emerging and to consolidate our standing on these markets. This is not about politics, but if in a month or in 2 months they'll stop buying our gas, maybe we should preemptively turn to other markets in order to consolidate our standing there. This is not a solution. This is just what I'm thinking. It's not a done deal. I will instruct the government to work with our companies on this matter.
Incredible stuff, man. You usually have to go to Reddit to see pictures of people being cucked, but the Germans are just posting on Maine. Oh no, Germany as an entire Germany as a nation state, which is like literally the fucking economic engine that drives the European Union, is so servile, so reduced. This is what happens when you don't denazify Nazi Germany, by the way. Yeah, Ecuador kicks out Cuba because of U.S. strikes. I know, I saw that. We're going to talk about that too. There's events being put in motion there too. What do you expect to come if the Kurds offensive, if anything? I think it's not about reaching a serious, sincere military objective for the Kurds. I think it's about just like destabilization while they continue pummeling Tehran. And mass chaos. What? It's just, yeah, it's misery maxing, if you want to call it that. I don't understand how people can't comprehend it. Like, what's going on right now is so fucking devastating and so destabilizing. And people think like, oh, I have like a hidden investment in the IRGC or something, and that's why I'm coping, and not because I'm terrified of the death and destruction that's unfolding in Iran right now, and also terrified of what comes next. Remember after 9/11, they took almost 2 years convincing the American people that Iraq was responsible for 9/11 and was creating weapons to do something worse. Now it's just like, I felt like it. Yeah. Definitely a reduced media capability, a reduced government in terms of propaganda. But I think it doesn't matter, right? I think it just doesn't, like, there are people that still come into this chat that go, oh, keep coping. You know what I mean? Like, as though every bomb that drops on the Iranian population that kills the Iranian people is not paid for with your tax dollars that could have gone to fixing your fucking roads, that could have gone to giving you health care. And the bombs that we're dropping this time around is being dropped directly for Israel's ambition in destroying a country with 93 million people. It's so crazy that people are desperate. They're so desperate to like feel like they get a W here. Like they want to feel like they have an investment in this. And most of the Americans that look at this in horror realize that they have no power. They have no way to put an end to this because, let's be real, what democracy exists when it comes to foreign policy? Never seen a covert CIA separatist military operation so heavily advertised as is happening, as wildly and as loudly as they can PR it. You'd almost think the CIA was running a deception operation here to stoke IRI paranoia to get them to massacre local Kurds. I think that's, if I was a very real force like PJAC and I was covertly sneaking my fighters into a war zone, I don't think I'd be thanking my sponsor for blabbing it to my enemy. Yeah, I think that's, I genuinely think that that's the case here too. I don't think these guys reveal the cards this early. You know what I mean? In the past, they never would have blown their load this hard and gotten a CNN hit. I suspect they don't have the popular support inside of Iran, and they have like a reduced capability of like maybe doing some terror campaigns here and there. And they hope that the government comes down super hard on the Iranian population to create a popular mobilization. So Kurdish leaders come out and say they don't want to get involved in supporting U.S. Israel, and then suddenly there's an electricity blackout, and Israel announces that Kurds are mobilizing on their behalf where there's no internet, when leaders already said no, right? I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, you don't hear from every single person anyway. Oil hits $100 a barrel. It's going to go 150 is when, I mean, this is a Shanghai International Exchange. Oil has hit $100 a barrel. We're cooking the Asian markets. Anti-war protesters. What is this? Senator Sheehy joined Capitol Police in lifting up and ejecting anti-war protester Brian McGinnis from the SASC subcommittee hearing. McGinnis is a Green Party candidate running for Senate in North Carolina. An anti-war activist filmed in the video below.
Out. No one wants to fight for Israel.
His hand. Oh.
Oh, they broke it. I think he broke his...
Let go of your hand.
They broke his arm? Fuck. Oh, you heard the crack, dude. That's crazy. That's pretty cool. Holy shit. I mean, like what he was doing is pretty cool. Great optics of doing this to a dude in a Marine dress blues. Yeah, he was a Navy SEAL apparently. Hasan, the government had computers 15 years before general public did. Do you think they have AGI and have been lying and all this news is fake? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Dude, what the fuck are you saying? What the freaking frick are you saying right now, man? Death and destruction from the sky all along. I'm telling you, these people are genocidal fanatics. And no, this did not begin with the Trump administration. They want to do to Iran what previous U.S. administrations did to Vietnam, Laos, Korea, Iraq, Libya. The evil is 100% bipartisan. Yes. The gas station near me went from $2 to $3 overnight. It's going to get fucking worse.
In a few days, in under a week, the two most powerful air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies, uncontested airspace. I hope all the folks watching understand what uncontested airspace and complete control means. It means we will fly all day, all night, day and night, finding the
cringe, dude. Oh my God. Stop sending me fucking AI videos from like the pro-Iranian OSINT accounts, dude. Please. It's just AI slop all around. It's unbelievable how much fucking AI slop people post.
Missiles and defense industrial base of the Iranian military, finding and fixing their leaders and their military leaders. Flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital, flying over the IRGC, Iranian leaders looking up and seeing only U.S. and Israeli air power every minute of every day.
This goes hard for every dumb fuck, by the way. Like, you know, like every European tuning into the Asmongold channel is like, oh, yes, this is so good, yeah. Oh, I love this. It feels like I'm coming. It feels like I'm doing it, yeah. Oh, are we killing the people? Oh, it's so good. Meanwhile, enjoy not having fucking gas in the upcoming weeks, dumbass. Oh, you're based! Your base is so based. I love the Americanish genocide. I love it. It's like I'm doing the genocide myself. Meanwhile, I have no autonomy, no sovereignty. Yeah, it's fine. I love being the servile dog of the Americanish state. Oh, please.
Until we decide it's over. And Iran will be able to do nothing about it. B-2s, B-52s, B-1s, Predator drones, fighters, controlling the skies, picking targets. Death and destruction from the sky, all day long. We're playing for keeps. Our warfighters have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours in.
Oh my God. 12-year-olds with fighter jet magazine collections are so stoked about this. No, it's not. It's worse than that. It's like 45-year-olds living in their fucking parents' basement with no job prospects and no positive outcomes for a fucking future that are lucky enough to maintain that shelter for as long as they can until, God forbid, their parental unit experiences a debilitating medical disaster and therefore collapses the family's finances, and he no longer has that shelter anyway and no job prospects. Remember, I need to explain that to you one more time, because guess what? AI is taking over whatever kind of IT position they could have possibly gotten in the fucking future, okay? And they sit around, 45 years old, no bitches whatsoever, okay? No job whatsoever, no money whatsoever, and sit in their crusty fucking boxers in between watching the Bungulator or whatever the fuck is called, the burnt peanut stream and the Asmongold stream, flipping in and out, thinking, well, America has a mighty military and they're killing a bunch of brown people overseas, and that makes me feel fucking powerful. Okay? That's it. Hey, maybe you can join ICE, the fascist, the fattest Hitler brigade anyone has ever seen. Maybe you can join that. While American officials could not be more explicit that this is a war intended to maximize death, destruction, and despair inside of Iran, there are Iranis outside of Iran who believe this war is for democracy. I don't even care about listening to fucking Iranian voices, the diaspora voices. I don't really. I think many of them that celebrated will come to that conclusion fairly shortly, okay? Yes, right now they think, oh, this is to liberalize Iran or whatever. They're silly enough to believe that Iranians will be different. Okay? However, very soon when they get that devastating phone call from the remaining family members that, you know, their grandparents got fucking ethered by American weapons that they paid with their tax dollars to go and bomb Iran, an act that they celebrated, they'll probably change their fucking tune. They'll change their attitude. Okay. Kurdish Soviet, please listen to Kurdish voices. Shut the fuck up. I'm disappointed. Please listen to Kurdish voices. Have you centered Kurdish voices like Brace Belden? Yeah, I have not. I have actually. There's been a second awful burnt peanut tattoo. I think these are all AI, by the way. I don't believe that any single human being would do that. In 2003, it fell to popular commentators like Thomas Friedman to articulate the real reasons for war. Suck on this. Now Trump officials just shout the vulgar psychology out loud, while crucially, most Americans don't feel or understand it. And the ones that do hear it, though, no, this is going to the intended audience. I think at this point, they've realized that there is no need for popular support for stuff like this, right? There is no need for popular support, and they don't even have it, quite frankly. And basically, Kurdish sources deny reports that a ground offensive has begun. Okay, this leads me to believe that Israel is trying to get the IRGC to go blow up Kurdish villages. I think that's the reason why they're leaking these reports ahead of time. That's what it feels like. They're trying to trying to be like, oh yeah, no, the Kurds are definitely coming. The Kurds are definitely coming when they're not coming. One must ask the question why they are so forthcoming with this otherwise covert operation.
Do not come.
I'm going to come.
Do not come.
Every American outlet is reporting based on administration sources that the Kurdish offensive has started, while journalists who's plugged into Kurdistan is denying it. Something is up. I spoke with 4 Iranian Kurdish officials. They denied the report that any ground offensive has started. There has been an coming from Israeli sources about utilizing Kurdish militias in Iran ahead of what would normally be a covert operation. It's reminding me of Pompeo and Israel admitting Mossad involvement. It's reminding me of Pompeo and Israel admitting Mossad involvement ahead of the mass unrest in Iran. Do with that information what you will. If you recall at the time, I said it is unique to have American and Israeli organs of propaganda come out and actively say Mossad is actually a part of these protests. Okay? I think they're trying to do the same thing. I think they're trying to say, oh, any day now, any moment now, you know, our forces are going to mobilize. We're coming for you, because they want a heavy-handed approach from the IRGC. It has to be true. Hasan, billionaire media says it's true. Come on, paid media can't be lying. There's been an unprecedented amount of reporting coming from Israeli sources about utilizing Kurdish militias in Iran ahead of what would normally be a covert operation. It's reminding me of Pompeo and Israel admitting Mossad involvement ahead of mass unrest in Iran to invoke a heavy response, which they did. Random lurker here just saw a news article with female Kurdish soldiers. You called the woke Kurdish articles. Iran's Noor news agency, citing knowledgeable sources, reported that Yemen has conveyed messages to Arab countries urging them not to consider any direct action against Iran, warning that any miscalculation would prompt a response from Yemen. Thousands of Iraqi Kurds have launched a ground offensive in Iran, U.S. official tells Fox. Either CIA stuff can't keep a secret for shit, or they're roping in people mafia style by being complicit. No, I think there is a little bit of truth. I think there is a little bit of truth in, like, obviously Mossad involvement, both in the protests that took place. Probably someone got on their signal chat again. No, they're just trying. Dude, what is unique? What is unique about this is not trying to create a popular uprising with different ethnic groups inside of Iran. That has always been the goal. What's unique about it is that they're calling it ahead of time. They're openly revealing their hand. Normally, you don't do that. Here, I'll give you an example. CNN did not report last time, leading up to the 12-day war, that the American government and the Israeli officials were arming Kurdish militias. And they've been doing it for months. They revealed that only now. Why did they reveal that only now? Because now they're actually either they armed some of the groups and they didn't get the response that they wanted. And the IRGC was very heavy-handed last time around when the mass mobilization and the uprising took place in Iran. Okay? And what amounted to a slaughter pretty much. And they were able to squash this, they were able to squash like all the military intervention with tremendous force, right? So this time they're trying to kick up the hornet's nest to the best of their ability, but they probably don't have enough. They probably don't have enough manpower and people who are willing and able to go out and do it. So in order to truly create an uprising, truly create a rebellion among the Kurdish groups, they're claiming that they're going to fight. They're claiming that they're going to do terrorism, with the hopes that the forces will go there and just blow up fucking villages or some shit. And then you will actually have a popular uprising. Because normally this would be covert. Majority of U.S. Senate blocks effort to force Trump to end Iran strikes without congressional approval. More, Israeli Air Force Commander Major General Tomer Bar said today that IAF special forces are currently carrying out extraordinary missions that could ignite the imagination. Israeli Air Force operatives, elite special units such as Shaldog, Unit 5101, and Unit 669, which conduct deep reconnaissance, target designation for airstrikes and combat search and rescue missions, often behind enemy lines and alongside IAF strike operations. Interesting. This has always been bipartisan.
I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. That's a terrible thing to say, but those people who run Iran need to understand that, because that perhaps will deter them from doing something that would be reckless, foolish, and tragic.
Is this real or AI? Yes, dude. What do you mean? Is the butcher of Libya? You think she's fucking around? She couldn't do it to Iran under the Obama administration, but at least she was able to get it off on Libya. And also kickstart the initiatives for what would take place in Ukraine. And also kickstart the initiatives of complete collapse in Syria as well. So at least she got a couple of her wishes across, you know? PJAC, the group that claims they're in contact with the Trump administration, is a designated terrorist organization by the State Department. Yeah, America famously hates arming groups that they consider designated terrorist groups by the State Department. This is really gonna. Do they know that? Someone should tell the American government that they're talking to an admin designated terrorist organization. They've never done that before. Yeah, no, it's a big news to me that they would do such a thing. What? Oh, man. I decided to check out other streamers last night. It turns out there really are anti-Semitic leftists out there. Hog. Why do they need an IRGC response when Israel can bomb the Kurds for the IRGC? I mean, they could do a false flag. Who's to say they won't? I spoke to senior PJAC official who denied this. I think they're wrong when they say that we have already started the war now, but we are preparing for the right opportunity.
That are currently based. So really groundbreaking reporting by our senior producer, Yulia Pobegailova, indicating that Kurdish forces that are currently based or that are based in Iraq have launched a ground offensive into Iranian territory.
Hold on. Kurdish leader in Iran, Mustafa Hizri of the KDPI, urges Kurdish soldiers to leave their bases and go home, saying the U.S. and Israeli strikes on the security and military bases pose a grave threat to the lives of civilians and ordinary people. Mustafa Hizri, the U.S. and Israeli strikes on the security and military bases of the Islamic Republic of Iran's regime often pose a grave threat to the lives of civilians and ordinary people. I urge all soldiers and personnel who possess choice and a desire of freedom across Iran, and especially Kurdistan, to abandon the barracks and security and military bases of the regime's IRGC. Yeah, he's talking to the Kurds that are in the IRGC. He's telling Kurds to desert. That's what he's doing. This is, I mean, they're in line with, they're trying to also work alongside. They're also trying to work alongside some of the leadership is also trying to work alongside American and Israeli interests here. Okay, look. I urge all soldiers and personnel who possess choice and a desire for freedom across Iran, and especially in Kurdistan, to abandon the barracks and security and military bases of the regime's IRGC, army, and security forces, to refuse to carry out the duties assigned to them, and to return to their family homes. This would be in their own best interest, both during these strikes and afterwards. It would spare them from the fate of the security forces and regime's crackdowns. That's good, right? No, what the fuck are you talking about? No. He's signaling to the Kurds, who are, again, majority anti-Israel and integrated into Iranian society, the ones that are literally a part of the Iranian society's regular security apparatus, whether it be civilian security or whether it be the IRGC or even the Iranian national military, which is separate from the IRGC, to literally an act of mutiny, to do treason. He is also playing a role in fomenting instability in regular Iranian society. Aiden simmer down. Kurdish offensive in Iran will backfire. The war will end with the Islamic Republic intact. After that, they'll call open season on the Kurds. It's open season on the Kurds regardless, by the way. I need you to understand something, okay? It's either open season on the Kurds if the IRGC goes and starts bombing Kurdish villages, or it's open season on the Kurds after mass destabilization occurs, and then the Turkish government, the Turkish military comes in and bombs Kurdish villages. The best bet for the Kurds, as well as everyone in Iranian society right now, is that the government remains intact. This is why I'm saying mass instability is not going to lead to an Iranian Kurdistan. Is this war going to keep escalating? Yes. What is this? Our perfect Dubai life is under threat. How British families are dealing with the attacks. Oh my God, dude, you're not serious, right? Like, are they writing this to get fucking people to support the IRGC strikes? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, shut the fuck up. No. That's too, I'm not even entertaining that. That's bait, right? That's gotta be bait. That's crazy. Marine interrupts Senate hearing. Yeah, I already covered that. So especially with the Kurdish stuff that's going on, there's some fuckery about, okay? There is some fuckery about, and I don't know, I don't know what's going to inevitably happen, but what I do know is anything that Israel touches turns to dust. So here's the Israeli media embedded with the armed Kurdish PJAC during the protests in January. Israeli documentary shows the Kurdish mercenaries they're training for war on Iran. Oh yeah, this is from... But finally, here she is. Pejman. the commander of PJAK.
המפקדת של פז'ק, אישה כורדית איראנית שחולמת
Kurdish woman who dreams and works to overthrow
את המשטר בטהרן.
woke the regime in Tehran.
Peyman, you are now one of the most wanted persons by Iran and by Turkey. Aren't you afraid?
Drawing on Nina that they want to kill us, that they want to capture us. Here's the Yulia tweet. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I know. The Kurdish forces in Iraq, and it's a female fighter, of course. To resist, not afraid. Governments that cooperate with Turkey. Is the Iranian regime a fascist regime? I know it doesn't matter, but leftists seem to think that Iran is somehow not responsible for killing protesters. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this to the best of my ability to help you understand. Who do you think, Iranian government and the Israeli government, is more ruthless, more cruel, more violent, maintaining an apartheid structure? The answer is not Iran. Okay. Iran has a theocratic governance structure. Iran is very repressive, oftentimes even brutal to its own citizens from time to time. Part of that is because of this, what you are seeing right now. Part of that is because they have a very heavy-handed approach, so much so that it actually creates a national security problem for Iran. This is true. Having said that, however, every part of the Israeli design is not for the betterment of the Iranian people or the Iranian government, for Iranian culture. Israel does not want Iran to exist. Okay? Israel does not want Iran to exist. They openly admit this all the fucking time. I just showed you a Financial Times article where an Israeli envoy straight up said it. They said, we don't give a fuck what happens. It doesn't matter. What are you going to do about it?
تركيا وإيران لهمبري أو رژیم دستلات.
פיימן, היום בת 36, גדלה ברחובות האלה.
grew up on these streets.
רחובות
Streets
שהיום
today,
היא
she helps
מסייעת
ignite
להבעיר בדרך
on the path to
למהפכה.
revolution. Like when you see stuff like this, does that help you understand a little bit more? Does that help you come to terms? This is the Israeli government. This is the design by Israel. Okay? Like wake up a little bit, please. It's hard to have to like relitigate this over and over again. Okay? Yes, this is a documentary on the Israeli side in Hebrew where they go into the tunnel systems under Iran, or I think this might be in Iraq, where they're openly saying like, oh, our assets are fomenting discontent, trying to spark a rebellion, trying to spark an uprising.
כי החיים באיראן לא הותירו לה שום ברירה אחרת.
Because the Iranian system gives women no life, meaning very little opportunity. Every woman is forbidden. This is also an abject lie. Okay, before people yell at me over this, yes, there are a lot of repressive components in Iranian governance and the way that they deal with women. Abso-fucking-lutely. It's idiotic. It's backwards. I hate it. Okay? But the idea that like Iran is like the Taliban is fucking ridiculous. So why is she saying that? Why is she making it seem like Iran behaves exactly like Afghanistan to an Israeli audience? Why is she leaning into this notion? Iranian women have a higher level of educational attainment than Israeli women do. That's not even a fucking joke. That's not bullshit. That's just facts. Okay? Iranian women have the highest level of educational attainment per capita than virtually every other country on the planet. Okay? Just so you understand, there are repressive elements that deny Iranian women freedom in regular society. But they're trying to make it seem like Iranian women have no options. They don't work in the workplace. They don't do this. They don't do that. This is not a reality in Iran. Why did they just give up on the fucking English subtitles, dude? I think she's saying, what? What is she saying? She's saying that they force women to wear the niqab, right? I can't tell. Kurds! What is she saying? Is she saying that they're making, I can translate if you want. Okay, translate. Oh, now you want to hear from Kurdish voices? Yes. Typical Ottoman ordering the Kurds in the chat. I am joking. What does she say? Our stance is Marxists should be against all fascism everywhere, Israeli, American, and Iranian. Still doesn't mean some fascists should be allowed to bomb the shit out of others. Yeah, I don't know if you understand this, but like, she is an asset for Israel and America, okay? Like, I don't know how else to explain this to you. I understand you're concerned about funding and priorities. It's natural to want to see investments in our own country. The aid we provide to Israel is actually strategic investment in our own security and prosperity, as they're a vital ally in the region. Sharing intelligence and technology to help us safe from terrorism. And most of the aid is spent on American-made defense equipment, which benefits our economy. Shut the fuck up. She did not say that. I'm going to text. Okay, she said something about that's a text message. That chatter was like totally... Okay, there's not a single fucking Kurdish person in the chat. Jesus Christ. Iranian women don't study and don't have any saying in society. Proceeds to attack all-girl schools. So fucking stupid. Yeah, okay, so I was right. She's talking about regime suppression for women in niqab being forced upon them and shit. Okay, so she says, I'm a Kurdish woman who does not agree with this system.
מעט מהמחאות שאנחנו רואים, בעיקר באזורים קורדים באיראן, הם יוזמה של... זה מתחיל הרבה לפני. שנים של חינוך...
Years of education for protest. Okay. Anyway, here's what Israel's saying.
Already on Monday, we're talking about thousands of Kurdish forces crossing the border, taking offensive, positions in the mountainous area of Mariwan. This is the mountainous range really on the border between Iran and Iraq. This is based on information from an official from the coalition of political forces of Iranian Kurdistan. These thousands of Kurdish fighters, mainly from the Pejak, these are Iranian Kurds who have fled into Iraq, trained for this moment exactly, and have now launched their offensive into Iranian territory. And as we speak, there's reports of intense airstrikes on IRGC positions in Mariwan, which would indicate coordination between the Kurdish forces and whoever is striking those positions, be they American or Israeli forces. You know, throughout these past couple of days, there have been numerous reports of coordination between the Trump administration and Kurdish forces in Iraq, including direct conversations between President Trump and Kurdish leaders. Coinciding with that, there is also a phone call between the Iranian foreign minister and the president of Iraqi Kurdistan, warning against any operation along the border between Iran and Iraq. And so we are seeing right now that ground offensive has already begun.
Wait, I didn't know Iranian women are allowed to gallivant. Yes, there are a lot of liberalized areas in Tehran. It's true. The government literally fucking... Like, Iranian people fought for this, okay? They died for this. They got arrested for this. Just so you understand. Like, that's not... Iranian women are literally pushing for progress themselves. I was visiting there in the winter, left January 8th. Pure coincidence, by the way. So many of my friends and family don't wear hijab anymore. Tehran especially has progressed so much. This war and foreign interventions is going to set everything back. I know. There was a bit in Democracy Now! Where they talked about this. Or there was like a dissident who straight up was like, this is going to destroy Iran. I don't get it. They're going to get destroyed. Iran still has like 500K army personnel on the ground and will also send drones on them. I know. The thing is, Iran has had, the Iranian government has always been incredibly fucking heavy-handed, and have, but the Masa Amini protests were pretty effective. And again, like for Iranians to achieve this level of liberty in their social lives and in their existences, okay, they died for it. Like they straight up died for it. Okay, the Iranian government does not fuck around. Whenever there's any sort of uprising, when you're a foreign adversary to the United States of America and to Israel, they do not play around with any sort of uprising. They just go as heavy-handed as you possibly can get, okay? Which creates even more instability, which frustrates people even further. Murdering civilians is just heavy-handed. I don't know what else you want me to say. I'm saying they're fucking ruthless. They're brutal. What the fuck do you want? Do you want me to sit here and justify nuking Tehran? Because that's not going to fucking happen. There's going to be regime change. Unfortunately, the U.S. is not going to stop until it happens in Iran and Venezuela. It's inevitable. It turns out the Iranian warship sunk by Trump forces was at India for a Navy event invited by India. It looks like India deceived Iran and sold them out. This is a blatant war crime. Oh, how'd that fucking to the Ayatollah who already passed away and probably wasn't watching to begin with, and the rest of the old guard in the IRGC, how'd that Indian deal work out for you instead of working with the Chinese state? How'd that work out? Yes, after Mahsa Amini got brutally murdered, they were a little relaxed on Iranians defying hijab laws, but it's not the law, meaning they can fuck with you anytime they want. It's like the IRGC imports alcohol, and they have a monopoly on alcohol and liquor, but if they want to fuck with you, they can arrest you. Yes, I know. I know that it's a revolution is necessary. It's just not going to happen in the hands of the American state. Hello. My argument is not about fucking social liberties for the Iranian people. We've moved way past that point, and I think you know that, and I hope you understand that. I got shot with rubber bullets during the Mahsa Amini protests. We lost around 5,000 people and 10,000 got arrested. We gained some social liberties, but the economy has gotten worse ever since. I got out of Iran by 2024. Exactly. And now it's going to get so much fucking worse. That sounds like the U.S. police too, though. No, there is no... The United States has free speech because it can get away with free speech because it has 800 military bases and no other fucking competing global power that can actually disrupt its domestic affairs and its foreign policy goals. Okay? Countries that are in the periphery that are designed as state adversaries, foreign adversaries by the U.S. state, cannot get away with allowing any sort of discontent to go on, because even a fraction of discontent yields mass instability and potential regime collapse. This is why they get more and more aggressive, whether it be Cuba in the way that people talk about the Cuban government, which has been, I mean, in comparison to like Iran or even China, the Cuban government is obviously a liberal bastion. But once again, the reason why America is losing its free speech protections right in front of our eyes is because America is losing its power around the globe. It's losing its fucking hegemonic superpower status. And that's why we're now thinking a little differently about our domestic affairs. Our police will get even more ruthless as time goes on. The same goes for policing and policing domestic affairs in countries in the periphery, in countries that are designed as foreign adversaries. Historically speaking, the only fucking way, the only time when any sort of instability happens in foreign adversaries, they strike way harder to be able to stop it. Okay. And in the process of striking hard, if they can't overcome it with like economic development as China has, that leads to mass instability. That only foments more instability. And the ultimate goal is always regime collapse. Do you understand? This is not a defense of what these countries do. But the reason why you can't compare it to America, when you say, oh, well, America kills like 1,000 people a year. Our police kills 1,000 people every year. It's not a comparison. Okay, you've never experienced anything like this. You've never even experienced anything like this like you see in Turkey, which is far better off than, as a NATO ally, far better off than Iran ever is. Don't mistake what I'm saying here. I'm not making a comparison between the situation in Iran for dissidents in Iran versus the situation in Turkey for dissidents in Turkey. But the reason why these countries react the way that they do is not for some I guess it's different for different countries, but like the reason why they strike down as aggressively as possible towards any kind of discontent is because they are understandably fearful of what that discontent yields, which is complete collapse of the system. They don't want to turn into fucking Libya. They don't want to turn into the Kurds are not mobilizing. It's fake news. I have family there, and one of whom is a known journalist. Yeah. I think that I was talking about this already. I think it's because they want to make it seem like the Kurds are attacking Iran so that Iran takes a heavy-handed approach and like strikes Kurdish positions aggressively. Although internally in Iran, there are some Kurdish leaders that are demanding mutiny. America gives these countries no option out, right? Where the only opportunity is either a permanent power vacuum and ISIS-style fucking groups like warlords dominating the goddamn land, okay? Or a hyper-authoritarian form of governance that looks a lot like a fucking dictatorship. And it's ironic because given those two options, the hyper-authoritarian government is still better than like a bunch of different regional warlords constantly duking it out with open-air slave markets and shit like that. Do you understand? There is no perfect liberal vision in the aftermath of American instability actually getting the results that it wants. Okay? And sometimes it takes 25 years and then they fuck off and then they give control back to the same exact fucking group again. Do you understand? As far as like Iranian governance goes, they've made a lot of fucking major mistakes. They've been incredibly brutal. They've been incredibly ruthless in their crackdowns. They've been incredibly bloody. But their biggest mistake, aside from not engaging in nuclear proliferation as soon as they possibly could, okay, was not aligning with China, because Iran is one of those countries that culturally always wants to remain sovereign. They have, ironically enough, an ideology that's not dissimilar to Jusha, but one that is also still very much looking at the West as potential partners in the future. It's idiotic. The West has only yielded death and destruction for Iran, and yet every single fucking time, down to the civilian governance that has been elected as reformist or whatever the fuck, or conservative civilian governance, and the Ayatollah has always thought one day the Westerners are going to actually deal with us as partners. That's it. That's it. They've always been like, oh yeah, they'll come to us eventually. They'll come to us eventually. Well, it turns out that's not happening. This is the only thing that the West wants out of Iran, is to destroy it. Jusha and Iran aren't comparable. Man, I'm using an example, okay? I'm using a fucking example. Obviously, Jusha and Iran are not comparable because Jusha succeeded in maintaining sovereignty. Iran did not. Iran is getting fucking destroyed right now. It's not like the DPRK is in a fucking good neighborhood. I mean, I guess they technically are because they're slammed in the ass cheeks of China for their own desires, for their own autonomy. But ultimately, you got so many American troops surrounding the country, both in South Korea and Japan, and yet they were able to, develop a nuclear program, develop, just like Iran has the ballistic missiles, North Korea has artillery. Okay? You might think, why do they have so much artillery? Well, that's because they wanted to have some kind of threat, some kind of military deterrence to make it super costly if America ever came back and tried to bomb North Korea back into the Stone Ages again. First, they build the artillery directed at South Korea, okay? Peppered along the demilitarized zone. The Iranian version of that was the ballistic missiles program, okay? Then, at Seoul, directly at Seoul. Then, after that, they build a nuclear program. Then they build the ICBMs so they can deliver the nukes if they want to. That's how they achieved nuclear sovereignty. And now, with partnerships with Russia and partnerships with China, they can work to develop the country for the civilian population and slowly but surely improve the material conditions of its people. I wouldn't be surprised if the current administration attempted regime change at DPRK at this point. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult to do that because they're shut off from the rest of the world for that reason. The two major mistakes for Iranian foreign policy, or the three major mistakes, was obviously not developing nuclear arms. I mean, there were tremendous setbacks in general, from Israel straight up assassinating their fucking top academics anyway, over and over again on Iranian soil, by the way. And then not dealing with China earlier, because they've always been very Western facing and also very invested in sovereignty and not really looking global power, whether it be the USSR at the time or whether it be China in the recent times. They've been very suspicious about dealing with foreign major powers. It's been 4 days already. Why haven't the U.S. and Israel been banned by the IOC and FIFA for launching a war of aggression? Quite sure that was the exact amount of time it took to decide on banning Russia. Well, yeah, it's not going to happen. No material analysis. What? You should get former Washington Post reporter and political prisoner Jason Rezaian on stream and his podcast, book 544 Days. Really interesting and informative. What is this? Is this Matt Iglesias?
And Israel launched a joint attack on Iran. Hundreds of people have been killed, including the primary target, Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. I've been getting a lot of questions about if this is a good or a bad thing. And the answer is that it's complicated. And I'm feeling a wide range of emotions. It makes sense that many Iranians are celebrating
Bro looks exactly like Matt Iglesias. No
the
disrespect.
death of a tyrant. And at the same time, that some are scared about the uncertainty of what will come next in their country. Both things can be true at the same time. I'm also anxious because the system he ruled over is still intact. And of course, as with any war, the real price is being paid by...
Yeah, my anxieties are not that the system is still intact. I'll be honest.
by innocent people in Iran. And
are you now saying Iran is losing right now? Brother, are you guys fucking insane? Are you insane? America and Israel are carpet bombing Tehran. Of course, as far as the Iranian population, they're losing big time. Everyone is fucking losing. You're losing. Gas prices are going up. You're an average American, you're losing. Okay? If you're the average Iranian diaspora that were demanding that this death and destruction campaign befall your family members still living in Iran, you're losing. You're losing loved ones. Everybody fucking loses in this process. There is no winners in this situation. There's no winners when an imperial superpower wages war against another country, okay? Even in the imperial core, the sons and daughters that go to wage that war, they lose. They lose their loved ones too. I don't understand what the fuck this argument is. Like, Afghanistan was lost, technically, by the American side when the American withdrawal took place and the Taliban took control over the country. Who won in that situation? Was that like a resounding W? Is Afghanistan better off now? No, it's not. The only people that win when America or any imperial superpower wages war are defense contractors and people who have financial interests in the continuation of this war. It's not good for anyone. As far as the state remaining intact, if that's the Iranian W that you're like trying to seek out here, yes, so far the state is intact. Okay? If that's your W or L, so far the Iranian government is intact. So far the Iranian military is intact.
countries in the region. There are massive shifts happening inside Iran right now. Bombs are still dropping. But there are a few international news outlets with a presence inside the country. Many reasons explain why journalists are ill-equipped to cover this story right now. A lot of that is because the Iranian government has made it all but impossible for journalists to operate inside the country. But it's also because the media often distills the story of Iran into simply good versus evil arguments or discussions about the country's nuclear program. It's a massive country of over 90 million people from a wide range of ethnic, religious, and linguistic backgrounds, and it has more than 2,500 years of history. It simply can't be distilled into black and white. An audience...
Yeah, all of that's going to go away, by the way, now that the Amer-Israeli pedophilic cabal is fucking lasering all of that every day with American tax dollars, by the way. And American sons and daughters are the ones who are directing those bombs. It's fucking awesome. I know. I'm going to talk about Ezra Klein's like laughable argument here. It's so funny. The real victim.
Does also have a responsibility to demand more nuance, not less.
Bro, he didn't say anything, chatter. That's not Matt Iglesias. That's an Iranian journalist. Are people so brain dead now that it's shocking the U.S. can project this much power that doesn't mean anything for morality? It's also, okay, the United States has basically unlimited munitions when it comes to its offensive capabilities, okay? No one, I hope no one, is surprised by the fact that America can carpet bomb civilian populations. What is surprising so far is the resilience of the IRGC in terms of maintaining its targeting and striking capabilities in spite of the American and Israeli bombing campaigns that are fucking taking place. Okay? It's also a major blow to American empire because they had to literally pull out and leave the Gulf states that are supposed to be in a security cooperation with the United States of America, and even the assets, like even the energy productive capabilities in the region, basically left defenseless to be pummeled by Iranian munitions. That is a huge blow to American imperialism, a huge blow to American empire and its force projection capabilities. Okay? And a lot of people do not understand that. They think, oh, you're coping or some shit. It's not. This is not cope at all. If you think that China is not like looking at the situation and recalibrating what kind of power they actually do have and what kind of power America has, you're wrong.
The whole humanity, the American people should really be alarmed at the level of these bloodthirsty operations. Why are they trying to kill everyone in Iran? I can call it a kind of genocide. On the one hand, I mean, look, the same day, the same hours that they targeted our leadership's compound at the heart of Tehran, and they assassinated the supreme leader, his family members, including a 14-month granddaughter. They targeted a school in the city of Minab, south of Iran. They killed 181 little angels. What does it mean? That's genocide, because they are killing not only the leaders, but also those who are going to be the future generation of Iran. Are they really the imminent threat?
Barack 8200 Ravid kept spamming Israeli cables about Kurdish incursions and now has deleted it all, saying the Kurds deny it. Oh my God. He deleted all the tweets. He deleted all the tweets. It doesn't exist anymore. Never mind, guys. Nip it in the bud. Sorry. I guess the Kurdish revolution hasn't taken place yet.
To the United States, I think.
No, it's not even backtrack Ravid. He is Barack 8200 Ravid, okay? The reason why he was doing that was because that's the Israeli goal. That was the Israeli goal at the time, and he works for the state of Israel still. I'm sorry.
Deserve to be contemplated. The American people deserve to know what is going on, what kind of conduct their government is doing, how their government is abusing their money, their tax money, their image in the Middle East, in the Islamic world, just in furtherance of the whims of Benjamin Netanyahu, who is, by the way, wanted by ICC, who is a genocidal killer in Palestine. So far, he has killed more than 72,000 people. So what we are watching right now is the continuation of an unprovoked, unwarranted act of aggression. First, they claimed that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States. What kind of threat can Iran pose to the United States? Did we come to the Gulf of Mexico to target Los Angeles and other US cities? Or they come 6,500 miles away from.
Is there any people on the side of Amer Israel who has said that they were responsible for the bombing of the school? The Iranian diaspora is adamantly claiming that it was the IRGC themselves. Anyone that thinks the IRGC itself bombed that fucking school is a delusional moron. Okay, wait, hold on. Where is the... Hello? Doors open. Right.
Iranian shores. And they are just targeting every part of Iran. They are killing our citizens, municipalities, schools, hospitals, medical centers, sports clubs. Everywhere is being bombarded and targeted by missiles by Israeli and American
Okay. Local authorities declared it's not true for PJAC attack. An American official stated to Fox News that thousands of Iraqi Kurds have launched a ground operation in Iran. Local sources have denied media reports claiming that militants affiliated with PJAC have launched a ground operation in western Iran. Yeah, I guess it's they're holding off for now. It's not happening for now. Can I get the red sauce too? Here, I'm gonna give you the white one. I don't need this, but I think so. Let me see. Yeah, just the fuck you doing? I'm getting food. I'm eating food. Am I allowed? Am I allowed to eat food before I do this interview in a little bit? No one believes this but liberals. I don't even think liberals are asleep at the wheel, man. I don't think liberals even fucking believe. His latest tweet, update. There is conflicting reports regarding what is currently happening in the northwest Iran with the border of Iraq. It's unclear whether a ground operation by the Kurdish Iranian militias has indeed begun or whether this move may take place in the coming hours. A senior official, Iranian factions denied to me that a ground operation has begun. I will update as soon as the situation becomes clearer. It's very strange, man. Very strange stuff. If left alone, Iran would come to the Gulf of Mexico in less than 10 million years after Pangaea is reconstructed, but nobody talks about it. Yeah, the idea that like Iran presents any kind of threat to America is fucking laughable. The idea that Iran would present any sort of threat to America or even Israel for that matter, if Israel was just a normal country in the fucking region, is also laughable. It's stupid. Anyway, as far as the I like I said, I think the reason why they're doing this, the reason why they're doing this shit is because they want to create instability and goad the Iranian government to take like super fucking brutal actions against the Kurdish population to create actual uprisings. Anyway.
Telling Fox thousands of Iraqi Kurds have launched a ground offensive in Iran. Decimated, destroyed, defeated. All words the Pentagon used to describe Iran's various military forces on day 5 of Operation Epic Fury. Moments ago, President Trump touting, then it's big, a U.S. official telling Fox thousands of Iraqi Kurds have launched a ground offensive in Iran. Decimated, destroyed, defeated. All words the Pentagon used to describe Iran's various military forces.
Anyway, let's get to there was also a really funny thing about who struck the school. Eylon Levy is such a fucking asshole. He came out and said, where is it? Hold on. Israelis are now blaming Americans for the Minab school bombing in Iran, which killed over 160 plus children and staff. America First folks need to see this. Eylon Levy, former Israeli spokesperson, says the Minab school incident is an extremely tragic story. It seems to be the result of faulty intelligence because the school was on a site that used to be a part of an adjacent IRGC base that was bombed. In any case, Israeli forces weren't active in the area and CENTCOM is investigating, so you don't dare try to pin this on us. He literally was like, everyone knows Israel's appetite for killing schoolgirls at schools, but don't you dare. This is American. We're friends like these, man. Also, Hegseth's bombing strike map literally shows that America. Okay. And while we were talking, Senate voted in favor of war.
We have there that sort of
48-52 U.S. votes in favor of war.
A bit better.
Shouts out to John Fetterman. He did that shit.